Now he's going to work it off on the opposite side. Big shot there from Connor Robinson. He's feeling it. Fires it again and gets a sixth. That's a sixth goal, and it's the sock trick from Colorado.
Here come the
Look
Sox.
out, here come the Sox.
Top of the slot as it goes, deking around. Tehoka Nanakok is a rebound from the side. Score, Buffalo!
Oh, so slippery by Kyle Buchanan.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another week of Coast to Coast. Joined, as always, by Teddy Jenner, my co-host, and this week's guest, Mitch Belisle, analyst for our ESPN Game of the Week. Mitch, welcome. We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm excited to be with this esteemed crew right here.
Love it. Guys, we had an incredible weekend of lacrosse, so let's just dive right into it and go through our favorite moments from this past week. We are also officially halfway through the season, which is a little bit hard to believe. I know some teams feel like they haven't played at all. Some teams, like the Wings, feel like they've completed almost all their schedule. So, Teddy, let's start with you on this one. What was your favorite moment from the weekend?
I think the biggest surprise for me was the Toronto Rock allowing 2 goals in the final 45 minutes of that game against Philadelphia. When you can shut down the likes of Rambo and Blaze and Corey Small and Crowley and Matisse, you were doing an incredible job. And it was really looking like Philadelphia kind of had everything going in that first quarter. But Nick Rose, Jalen Rogers, Brad Creed, and that whole Toronto Rock defense just did an incredible job shutting down that offense and really having maybe their best defensive game of the season. And it was really impressive to see for a team that's kind of had some injury issues to really see them put full 60 minutes together on both sides of the ball. But the work that defense did was just very exciting for me to see because everyone talks about this Philadelphia offense, now how potent they are. And it was nice for me to see a team shut them down.
Yeah. I actually had the same favorite moment, most shocking moment. I don't know what adjective I want to put in front of it. But yeah, it was tied at halftime, and the Toronto Rock just completely shut that Wings offense down that we all know is super powerful. It was very, very shocking to see. I think even the Wings themselves were a bit shocked and confused by that, but all credit to Nick Rose and that Toronto defense because that was an incredible second half performance by them.
Yeah, it was. It was as perfect a game as you could play, wasn't it, Mitch? Defensively.
Yeah, they locked it down, and Nick Rose, I think, they've had a different lineup every couple of weeks. They've had no fans, so it's been a weird year for Toronto, especially. So I think getting that consistency, it's true across the league, but for them especially, guys that basically they always play home games, they always practice at home. Having that consistency is something that's been a trademark of that program, and I think is why they are starting to get back to the level they expect to be.
Well, Mitch, what's your personal favorite moment? Was it the Toronto Rock completely shutting down the Wings as well? Do we all have the same?
No, as a D guy, I'm proud of that. But actually, full transparency, I did not. This was the first weekend, I think, all season I did not call a game, but not wanting to miss out. I coached 10 box games on Saturday, so my voice is still recovering. But in between that, I did make sure to catch all the games, which is a pretty cool part of our deal now that we can see every game on TV. And so Friday, I was actually watching the Riptide versus Halifax goal while bathing my kids. I had, my 2 boys in the tub and I've got my game up. And in the 3 minute and 1 second span, 7 goals were scored. And I was like, did I just happen to turn this on at the right time? 2 power play goals, a shorthanded goal, 2 transition goals, some 5-on-5 goals. So that to me was this is what the NL is all about, right? I'm bathing my kids and watching a game and I see 7 goals scored and it's back and forth and it's just nonstop action. So to me, this unpredictability of the NLL, the ability to turn on a game and see wild things happen, wild swings happen, and also to do that from the comfort of my own home was pretty cool. So that was my favorite moment of the weekend. Getting to be a good dad and be a good NL analyst all at the same time.
The life of Mr. Luxurious has really changed, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. A lot more tubs.
Love it. It's multitasking at its finest. And just really quickly, I want to say New York. I mean, I've never seen a team whose record does not reflect the way that they've been playing. They keep getting in these close matchups and then, except for a few, losing. But their offense is super potent. Mitch, I know you're very familiar with them. So, all right, guys. It's time to get into the best segment of the show. We haven't done this one in a while. It's time for our brightest stars. And this time, it's not of the week. It's of mid-season. Because as I said, we are officially halfway through the season. So not just from this weekend, but overall performances so far. I will start us off. My brightest star of the midseason has to be Lyle Thompson. He's leading the league in points right now. And when I talked to him when the Swarm came to Philly a few weeks back, he told me that this team is really still kind of refining their identity. The entire right side, aside from himself, has been completely different. And, you know, we all know it's Lyle Thompson. Lyle Thompson is incredible. He's always going to be incredible. He always has been. But I think under these circumstances in particular, it is especially impressive to me and to put up the points that he has so far already halfway through the season. So Lyle Thompson, you are my brightest star. I think I need even bigger shades because you have just been playing incredibly. Teddy Jenner, let's get yours.
Ryan Lee's future is so bright that he's got to wear shades, and he has been absolutely phenomenal for the Colorado Mammoth. And when you look at his career, he's got 173 points. Well, 43 of those points have come in the first 6 games of the year. He had 9 assists last game against Calgary. He's averaging 7.1 points per game. That's the best across the entire National Lacrosse League. And he really is the drink, or the straw that stirs the drink for the Colorado Mammoths. Yes, they've got Zed and Tyler Digby and Eli McLaughlin and Chris Wardle, but anytime they need a big play or they need to settle the offense down, it gets in the stick of Ryan Lee. And he continues to show that he's not just a shooter. He's not just a guy that flies through the air, dramatic goals. He can be a true team guy. Case in point, 9 assists this past weekend. And, you know, we looked at past Colorado teams, and you got the John Grants and Ryan Benesh and Eli McLaughlin, guys who've led this team for a number of years. Ryan Lee will probably be the leading scorer of this Mammoth probably the next 5 years, or as long as he is with this organization. He is going to be their MVP as much as everyone loves Dylan Ward. Ryan Lee's future is so bright in this league. He had an incredible summer in the PLL. He's having an incredible winter in the NLL. His stock just continues to rise. And he's going to be, if not one of, the best players in the league right now.
The straw that stirs the drink. I like that. I'm going to start using that now. I don't know if I've ever heard that
never
before.
Heard that before?
No. I mean, I've heard of like, what, the straw that broke the camel's back? Short, I got the
That's
short
a different
straw
kind of
or whatever.
straw, but yes.
I don't know. You Canadians have weird sayings. Mitch, who's your brightest star?
Well, if Ryan Lee needs the blue blocker extra dark sunglasses, I think Jeff Teat, for me, fellow Cornell Big Red alum, is the guy that maybe you need a pair of transition lenses because he does it so unassumingly. You watch him play and you're like, this guy's pretty good. And then you look at his stats line and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. He is so casual in everything he does. I was watching the Olympics the other night and my 5-year-old goes, I can do that, while watching figure skating. I'm like, no, you couldn't. It looks easy because they practice so much. That's what Jeff Teat brings to the game. He does it so unassumingly, so flawlessly that it looks easy. And I think it actually undersells how good he is. His ability to not only create for himself, but at the same time, he's scanning the field and seeing that right-hand side, who's extremely lethal with Callum Crawford, but even more so, like Jake Fox and Connor Kiernan have been finding those seams and finding those gaps. When you have a player like Jeff Teat that can find them while attacking the cage, it's just a lethal combination. And, I didn't mean to go so New York Riptide heavy as the New York analyst, but I mean, I think I've got to give it to my guy, Jeff Teat. He has been just one of the brightest stars and only playing 5 of their 7 games, leading rookies now with 10 goals and 24 assists.
Yeah, I think the one thing that really stands out about Jeff, and it's what we see from guys like Lyle and Ryan Lee, is his ability to back check and go back with the play and cause turnovers. There was one play during that game where he chased down, I can't remember who it was on Halifax, but chased him down the floor and casually just threw a little flip stick check, caused a turnover, got the ground ball, started a transition the other way. And that's just what makes superstar players, not what makes guys like Jeff Teat so special, is because he's just not an offensive threat. He has defensive skill sets that makes him so valuable.
Well, and I brought this up when I was talking to Coach Lattisaur. I said, Jeff doesn't run that hard to the bench. And that's, that's a big thing. Coaches are always getting on, guys, get to the bench. And he doesn't go full speed to the bench every time, but that also, I think, has let Laddie shift his attention to say, hey, you can go and you can ride and you can stay on and create those opportunities. And that's been great.
Huh. That's really interesting. And Teddy, I just want to point out, how's that burning take coming along? Didn't you have an interesting
trust me, I'm still on record. I don't think he's going to win it. I still think, and it's going to come on my next hot take, but I still think it's not going to be him. It's going to be somebody from Vancouver. but it's not.
All right, well, that is the perfect transition. We're going to do shades off, get the, what is it, milk and bread? I don't know what helps with spicy food, because it is time for our burning take presented by Warrior Teddy. I'm just going to let you keep rolling into this one. And to remind everyone, one of Teddy's first burning takes earlier this season
was the very first one.
It wasn't the very first one. Was that Jeff Teat will not win Rookie of the Year.
I'm going to go very spicy. Jeff Teat won't win Rookie of the Year.
What?
Yeah. What? Jeff Teat won't win Rookie of the Year. I don't know who it's going to be, but I just have a feeling that Jeff Teat will not win Rookie of the Year. That is my spiciest of spicy takes.
Blasphemy.
All right, my burning take this week is that Reed Bowering will not only win the loose ball champion of the year, he will do it without taking a single face-off. When you think about the guys that usually lead that category, it's draw guys. Well, he's at 76 in 6 games, 12.7 per game. He's on pace for 228, and he still hasn't taken a draw yet. Trevor Baptiste is up there. Brad Creed is up there. Withers is up there. Those guys have to take draws, so usually pinch pop and they give him a loose ball for not a whole lot of work. Reed Bowering does it in the corners, in the middle of the floor, all over the turf, and he just seemingly knows where the ball is each and every time it's bouncing. And his success at finding those loose balls is catapulting that Vancouver transition game and causing him to, continually get points, continually get goals, and really allowing Vancouver to have an explosive, dynamic transition game. And so my hot take is Reed Bowering wins not only the loose ball trophy, but will do it without taking a single face-off.
Teddy, do you think there should be a marked difference or statistical difference between offensive or defensive ground balls or loose balls?
No, I think there should be, a category of loose balls won on face-offs, like draw guys cleanly winning them to cleanly winning it to themselves. Maybe shouldn't be as clearly defined as a loose ball as something that's truly loose. So whether it's offense or defense, that doesn't matter. You're still busting your balls to try to find that loose one. But if you win it clean off a draw, I don't think that should count as a loose ball.
Yeah, I think, some guys just have, especially in the O end, a knack for getting those freebies. And I do think it comes with, they say that the guys with the best luck are the ones that work the hardest, right? But you have to put yourselves in those positions. But it is funny how some offensive players, they seem to rack up the ground balls or the loose balls, but a lot of times they're just in the right place at the right time, rebounds, things like that. Those aren't necessarily contested loose balls, but they still count towards the same score sheet.
Agreed.
All right, well, Mitch, let's hear your burning take then. Is that it?
I'm gonna go with the Riptide flush, and I'm gonna just keep it going. Jump on your bandwagon. This is a team that will contend for a title within 3 years. I think they have the offensive building blocks. I think defensively they still need to build a little bit of cohesion, and they need to just get a little more aggressive, I think, defensively. But when they've played aggressive on defense, when their offense is clicking, you put 17 goals on Matt Benz, something is happening right. And obviously, if they could get the defense on the same page in that game, they hold them to 15 into the last 3 minutes in that wild sequence of events that happened. But I think this is a team that is built for success, for long-term success, and I expect them to make a run in the playoffs. I was going to say this year, that was my burning take early, but then after the loss to Halifax, I think they're too deep of a hole right now to make the playoffs this year with the way the East is trending. But I think 3 years. I'll go 3-year plan is gonna take them to where they need to be.
I believe that was one of Devin's hot takes, wasn't it?
It was. I think that was actually my very first hot take or burning take was that the Riptide were going to make the postseason. I may have been wrong about that, but like I said, they show, especially offensively, they have so much talent. So yeah, maybe not this year. It's already halfway through the season. Their record isn't great. And the East Division, it's just I feel like it's always an overtime or 1 point game. The parity is just so unreal. But yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe even next year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, I think if they clean up some of the little mistakes and their goaltending, makes a couple key saves down the stretch in some of those games, their record is completely different. But you could say that for Panther City, but I think New York is in a better position than Panther City is, obviously being a second-year team. But I agree with both of you saying that this team is already forced with the building blocks to have success down the road. They add a couple more pieces in the next few drafts of free agency, and in the experience that Laddie has and the reputation that he has as being an incredible coach and guys wanting to play for him, I think guys are going to want to go to New York just of what they're building there right now.
Well, talk about goaltending, Orleman is a rookie. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time probably of the season that he is comfortable in that starting job. He's comfortable knowing this is my net. And that takes time in this league, like usually years and years, right? Before guys get completely comfortable between the pipes. So to have a full season under his belt, start to understand what defense is in front of him, how they play, he's going to be able to adjust accordingly. And I think better things are going to happen towards the tail end of this year. Will it be enough to get in the playoffs this year? It's a big uphill climb, but I think it's only up from here. Yeah, for sure. All right, my burning take is, I don't know, it's not anything too spicy this week, but, we just had the Pro Bowl. The NHL is on their All-Star break. The PLL just came out with their schedule. I think they're doing their All-Star this summer at Gillette Stadium. Mine is, and has always been, that the NLL needs an all-star game or some sort of, week, whether it's a break in the middle of the season or towards the end with guys like the Pro Bowl, like maybe guys who aren't on the two teams going to the championship, but some sort of all-star game, exhibition, series of events. Maybe it takes place, wherever the finals take place. Maybe it's like a big thing and we lump in awards and all that. But I feel like something needs to happen because there's so, even choosing my brightest star of the week, of the midseason, there's so many people. There's Dane Smith, there's goaltenders who are playing incredibly. So there's just a lot of talent, and I think that we need to recognize them. And I think the best way to do that is to do, an all-star event.
Well, if people complain about the compete level in the NFL pro game, you probably won't have to complain about the compete level in an NLL All-Star game because you can't take a shift off. You have to D-up and cross-check that. So there have been some moments in past NLL All-Star games where they have happened that, you would see something in a regular game. Jeff Snyder with blood and knees. Glenn Clark absolutely crushing Jay Jalbert. Maybe it was the other way around in Colorado that one year. Dan Dawson jumping into a hot tub. We can do a lot of good things at an NLL All-Star game. It's just finding when to put it. Because if you put it in mid-season, that's another week of flying guys across the country. If you put it at the end of the year, you're running into PLL and Canadian Summer Ball. So I kind of like your idea of doing it kind of around an award ceremony weekend or maybe the championship weekend.
Teddy, 2009 Colorado All-Star game. I think that was when Dan Dawson jumped into the hot tub. That was also my only All-Star game that I participated in. I still got the jersey in the basement. I'm assuming you were there though, right?
No, I wasn't there. I was watching from the comfort of my own home.
Lovely.
Well, okay, Mitch, let me ask one question on that. Do athletes actually enjoy playing in an All-Star game? I feel like that can be an issue.
Yeah, it probably depends on what your role is, right? For me, a D guy who's not exactly expected to go out and score goals and ooh and ah the crowd. There's low pressure. It's an opportunity to go out and play with these amazing players. I was, I think, my second or third year in the league. So I loved it. Now, if you're a guy who's carrying your team halfway through the season and you're beat up or you're dinged up and you're still getting cross-checked by guys like me, then maybe it's not so much fun. So
take a shift off, Mitch.
I think you can't. No shifts off.
Exactly.
So I think it really depends on what your role is.
That makes sense. All right, guys, I think that just about does it for this week's episode of Coast to Coast. Amazing stuff. We've got another jam-packed weekend starting Friday night, Colorado at Calgary, Saskatchewan at Vancouver. Then Saturday, we've got our ESPN Game of the Week, New York at Georgia, our TSN Game of the Week, Buffalo at Toronto, Albany at Rochester, San Diego, Panther City, and then Super Bowl Sunday matchup, Philadelphia at Halifax, but that will actually also be played in Hamilton where the Toronto Rock play. So a lot of schedule changes. Love a good Sunday matinee matchup, guys. So which of these games are you most looking forward to, aside from the games that you both are working?
I'm on a bye this weekend. It'll be Pat Gregoire and John Abbott and Ashley Docking. As much as I'm looking forward to seeing Mitch call that game down in Georgia, I think the rematch of Colorado-Calgary is going to be one that is going to be incredibly testy. It got heated late in that game. Calgary just didn't have their firepower. They were without pace. They were without Curtis Dixon. I expect to see some lineup tweaks from the Roughnecks, but if Calgary's going to get back into this race to try to, keep pace with Saskatchewan and Vancouver, they're going to need this win. But Colorado is sneakily one of the best teams in the National Lacrosse League. Buffalo gets all the hype. San Diego gets all the hype. Not a lot of people are talking about the Colorado Mammoth. I think they should. And I think they come away with another big win this weekend.
Teddy, I watched the Colorado Mammoth get absolutely waxed by San Diego in the season. I said, this is going to be a long season for them. And ever since that game, Coach Coyle's got it figured out. They've retooled, and their offense is flowing and clicking like never before. And Dylan Ward's playing like the Dylan Ward we expected. So you've got that game, and then I think this Buffalo-Toronto game is a big test for Toronto. It's going to show are they really with the cream of the crop? And also the Bandits have had a couple of close calls, but have always found ways to get it done. So this will be a great test for those teams right across the border battle. That'll be a good one, but I'm obviously most excited about heading back down to Georgia and calling the Riptide versus Georgia game and getting to see quite a few familiar faces and get back into the arena down there in Duluth.
I know you're neutral, but who do you cheer for?
I'm neutral, Teddy. I cheer for a great lacrosse game.
He's neutral, yet he literally chose the Riptide for like every segment that we did on this show. So,
hey,
I at least try to not mention Philly.
Talk about what you know.
Fair.
But when you don't score a goal in the second half, there's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
I know. That's just embarrassing. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. That does it for this episode of Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning in.